recording there. Bear in mind that there's a webinar offer today. It's a limited offer, so if you want to get in on it, you'll need to get in contact with me ASAP to take up the offer. Okay, so that's me. I'm Patrick Loke. I've been trading options for over 12 years myself, and for many of those years it has been my primary income. Nick Halleck a little while back asked me to host some of these webinars for Financial Freedom Institute and 21st Century Education because of my experience with these strategies and how they worked for me. So I can certainly attest to their suitability for the average person to get started in the markets. That's how I got started, and certainly it's a great stepping stone to greater success in the markets and options, the stock market and the options market. So we're going to cover a little bit about Nick Halleck. I'm sure most of you know who he is, but we'll cover him in brief. We'll have a quick glimpse at Nick Halleck's wealth matrix and how the Sharelord system fits into it. We'll also see a little bit of client feedback, the basics of the Sharelord strategy. I'll explain that. We'll also go through the Sharelord website, and I'll explain to you how easy it is for the average person to get started. There's been some amazing developments. If you haven't seen this in the past 6 months or so, the Sharelord Investor platform for helping people get on board is amazing. You really don't need to do anything yourself if you don't want to. I'm not encouraging you to go in blind, but I'm just sort of saying if you're worried about time or whatever, we'll show you how you can get in and not have to spend a lot of time before getting started. And we'll talk about the enrollment process. Okay, once again, there will be a webinar offer, and if you want to enroll through the webinar, there will be limited opportunity to do that. So, Nick Halleck is the inventor and the creator of the Sharelord system. He didn't invent the strategy, but he certainly put it all together and made it accessible to the average person, and so many people have taken advantage of that in 51 countries around the world. Nick speaks on international stages with the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Clinton. He's spoken for the graduating class of the Harvard Business School, all manner of things. And you can see there's Clinton on the same bill as Nick Halleck. Nick has also gone into space. He's had a number of incredible achievements, including he's been a rock star. He's climbed the world's tallest mountains, visited over 100 countries, and he's actually been to visit the Titanic. So amazing sort of story. And I tell you this because Nick is certainly somebody who knows how to take a strategy, make it work for him, and develop the life of his dreams. And that, I suppose, is why most of us want to take on a system like this, because we want to develop a strategy that's going to work in the background of our lives and allow us to take on our goals and our dreams. And certainly for me, it certainly has been a big part of that has been Sharelord. So just to give me an idea about the people who are here, first off, is there anybody here who's never heard of Sharelord previously and wants to find out what it's all about? If you could just type an X into the question box for me so I just know how many absolute newcomers there are. Now, if you've heard of Sharelord and you have been sort of following it for a while, just type in a Y into the question box, please. Okay. So, wow. So a lot of people just here for the webinar offer. Okay. Cool. All right. And who's sort of tried share renting before and it hasn't really worked out, and you're sort of looking for maybe another opportunity to make it work for you? Who's tried it on their own? Okay. Cool. A couple of people. So I'd say by these numbers here that the majority of the people here have seen Sharelord presented previously, and are basically looking to see if they can jump on with an offer. So there's going to be a bit of competition, but that's okay. And we've got a couple of people who, it's brand new for. So for those who it's brand new, I'm going to go through the strategy in full, but I suggest that you watch the recording so that you can go over it, because it's only a 50-minute presentation, and we certainly don't want to have to rehash everything when you can go back and watch the recording. So for those of you who absolutely know that you're wanting to take advantage of the offer, you might not make it to the end of the presentation, or you might skip out during the presentation, so some as you will. You can just email me and I will get the details out to you. So there's my email address, ploke@coachingprograms.com.au, or you can just text me, and I'll certainly get in contact with you with the webinar offer that's going to be running tonight. So the Sharelord system is really awesome because you can generate income from virtually anywhere in the world. I certainly have done this. I've been in different countries around the world and been placing my Sharelord trades just on a laptop, and that is something that anyone here can do, because you get the if you've got access to Wi-Fi, or you can access the internet cafe or what have you, then you can pretty much generate income from anywhere in the world with the Sharelord program, and it doesn't need to necessarily affect your lifestyle too much, because it's a very, very small amount of time invested once you know what you're doing. Now, many times we've seen Nick present at our various events, and he always talks about the wealth matrix, and the wealth matrix goes like this. When we are when we go to school and we learn about getting a job, we kind of think that our income, our job, is going to be able to pay for our lifestyle. That's the idea that's been sold to us. But what we soon find out, of course, as we go along, is that our income alone is not enough to really supply the holidays, the cars, the houses, and so forth that we want. And many of us get into debt because we're chasing the American dream or the Australian dream, but we really can't afford it on the salary that we have. And that's where the growth matrix comes in, because the growth matrix is there because we need to actually invest in something that is stable and consistent so that we can have the lifestyle down the track. And so what we do is we take our hard-earned income, which is here, we invest a portion of it into the growth matrix, and then from there that will generate us income. That income we then put into other strategies we call momentum strategies. These are possibly more risky and higher leverage strategies that have the potential for bigger returns, but they're not as safe necessarily. So we want to go growth first, then momentum, and then from there, once we've got these other two parcels in place, then lifestyle can be paid for from the profits of our other ventures, and we're no longer reliant on our income for lifestyle. We don't get ourselves drowned in debt, and we only take on good debt, not bad debt, and that's how we become successful and financially independent. And let's have a look here at the way that Nick puts together the criteria of the growth strategy. So first off, you need to know your return on investment upfront day one. And as a Sharelord, you'll know that. So you'll know that your return is going to be X percentage, say 3%, 4% for the month, and that can't be taken away from you. Then you know your risk profile. Then you know how much the maximum you could possibly lose if things go horribly wrong. Now, with the right level of skill and foresight, you're not going to have things go horribly wrong very often. But if they do, you know the maximum risk, and that needs to be something that you're comfortable with. Then you need to be recession-proof. The ability to make money or cash flow even when the economy is not going well, even when the banks aren't lending, even when your property is not growing in value, you need to be able to create that cash flow. And the Sharelord system is designed to do that. Also, you are in control of your own investments. You're not handing money over and just trusting to a fund manager. You are in control of which positions you're going to take and so forth. And you're shown exactly how to take control and become completely independent. And you can do it from anywhere in the world, as I said before. So the Sharelord system does absolutely fulfill all those criteria, so we can avoid getting into the situation where we are in financial cancer, where a lot of people in America, in England, and in Australia, so there's people from all these countries, are suffering from financial cancer because they're taking their income and spending it on lifestyle. And we want to stop that now. Okay, and the way to do that is through the Sharelord system, or one way to do it is through the Sharelord system. A lot of people around the world have had success using Sharelord. We're always getting emails and testimonials coming in from all around the world. And one of the more common things is about the continued support and training, as well as the mentoring. This particular person is planning to retire in 12 months because of the system, because they've got the confidence after 12 months. Once again, we're talking about an excellent mentor. So you can see there, an excellent mentor, and you can see that Sharelord recommendations, escaping the fury, okay, the volatility, this uncertainty in the market. You know, their Sharelord team have been around for a long time, 20, 25 years in the markets. They know what to look for, and they know when not to be putting our money on the table. So they'll through the trading diary, they'll show you when it's not a good idea to be in the market, and they won't even put out a recommendation on that particular day. You can see here, once again, we've got people from all over the world. We can see great presentation and mentoring once again. Mentoring is a big one for most people. And that's what Sharelord has become better and better at over the past few years. This person here, 12 months, 50%. Okay, so I made a 50% return in 12 months. And we've even got people who, the system is workable even for a child. I know that my 9-year-old can certainly place a position onto a trading platform. This little boy here, Jaden, certainly could do it at 8 years of age. Not suggesting that you go out and trust the whole account to your kids, but what we're saying is that it's straightforward enough that that kids can actually follow along and actually do this with your supervision. And this is my account. So we can see that after I joined Sharelord, this is my monthly, the bottom line of my monthly statements from my options account. And you can see there that over time, is it coming on board? Can you see that yet, guys? Over time, what I was able to do is get to the point where I was doing sometimes $5,000, $10,000, $12,000 for the month. We could see this one was a doozy. That was 37, over nearly 38K for the month. Now that does not happen very often. That was about on my account at the time was about a 12% return for the month. But it is possible, and it does happen from time to time. You don't count on it. We're more looking like around about that 3 to 4%. But when those big months come along, they're certainly fun to have. Okay, and if you've got protection in the market, then you're not going to take a big hit. So the terminology rent your shares, we're going to talk about share renting. That's a simplification. You certainly cannot rent shares but you can sell options, and it's kind of like the concept is kind of like renting the shares. Buying insurance, we're going to talk about buying insurance. You're actually buying an option that insures your share for a certain period of time. So bear in mind, these simplified terms are just here to help you understand what it is we're talking about. Now, when we're Sharelords, big difference between a Sharelord and, say, somebody who's going out and buying a stock without the benefit of the options that we sell is that we're not trying to trade the market, buy and sell at a profit. We're actually just selling an option and getting income up front. So we're actually creating a market. Other people are going to take the options that we create and they're going to trade them amongst themselves in order to try to make a profit. But whether they're successful or not in making that profit, we get the money up front. So when we're trading as Sharelords, we buy a share and we immediately get paid an income on that share straight away. Most market traders are gamblers, they're speculators, and because of that, most of them lose. Typically, we've seen it time and time again in CFD and Forex accounts, 80%, 79, 80% of people are losing. And it's only that sort of top 5% that are doing really well, and sort of there's others that are treading water. You don't need to be an excellent stock picker. You don't need to know exactly what's happening to the market direction when you're a Sharelord. It's a lot easier to make money because you're getting paid up front, and so therefore you're not necessarily needing the stock to go up. You just don't want it to tank every single time, and that's how we stay ahead of the market, by making sure that we are getting paid a good premium up front day one for our troubles, rather than buying something which may or may not move in our favour. We're selling options to these options traders on a monthly basis. They're paying us every single month. Now sometimes these option traders will buy an option from us for, say, $1 and it'll go to $4 and they'll make a 400% profit. And we're not going to get that profit. But what we do get is that dollar. So rather than try to turn $1 into 4, what we're just doing is we're just generating that dollar every month. So at the end of the year, we generally end up ahead because we don't have to have all that additional skill and luck on our side. We just generate that upfront income. And as a Sharelord, we're always opening every single position with a profit. Now, who likes the idea of knowing that every time they open a trading position, it's going to be opening with a profit? So you're going to start with $1,000, and then you're going to have $1,050 in your account straight away, up front, day one. That's a very, very powerful strategy, and one which a lot of people don't really understand how much better it is than trying to buy something for $1,000 and then sell it at $1,100 a little bit later, because what if it doesn't go up, or what if you have to hold it and pay interest on it and so forth like you do with CFDs? This is why a lot of people aren't successful with trading, because they don't get a profit up front. And I'm just going to show you here how this process works. Now, this for those of you who've seen this before, here it is again. For you newbies, this is the concept. So what happens is, you can see here that we're going to buy, and we can see here that Best Buy was trading at just under $17, and let's say we bought those shares at $17. What we're going to do is we're going to sell someone else the right to buy those shares from us at that $17 price point. That's the contract. So the contract is we're going to sell those shares to them. Now, we're only going to sell the shares if they go up. And what happens if they go up? We make an additional profit. So that's a pretty good deal for us. And for that, we're going to receive, even if you can see that there, $1.12 per share. Now, that works out to around about a 6% return. So if you can see here, just moving on forward. Have we got that yet? Okay, so here we go. Share price, we're paying that 16, sorry, it's gone a bit too far. I'm going to go back again. We're paying this $16.87, okay, if we can see that there, and the premium that we're receiving is $1.12, okay, so that is around about a 6% return on equity up front day one. We can look at how it works with other different instruments and options and shares as well. And this particular share here is trading just below $32. If we bought those at $31.70, we could sell someone else the $32 call option. We could rent them out, and if they go up, then we have to sell them at $32. If they go to $50, we still have to sell them at $32. But for our troubles, we're receiving this $2.20, if everyone can see that. So when we receive that $2.20, that's actually about a 7% return up front day one. And that goes into our account day one. In this particular situation, if we can see this one, we're buying this one at $22.64. We're selling somebody else the right to buy it from us at $23. And for that, in this situation, we're getting $3.10. You see that there. $3.10 divided by $22.64 is a 13.6% return. Now, we're going to use some of that money later on to buy some insurance, but that's pretty good, getting nearly 14% up front day one. Now, not all stocks at all times are going to give us a good return. We can see here this is Disney Corporation, and this is, they make movies and they make products. Everyone knows Disney. And you can see at the time of this particular trade that there was trading just below $48. At $48, it was going to give us, if we can see over here, 68 cents per share premium. That's only going to be a 1.4% return. In Australia, when we do share renting, 1.4% is not bad. But in the States, we're expecting 3 to 9% as a minimum before we're getting into it. And that's what the Sharelord team are always looking for, that 3 to 9%. So in this situation, we wouldn't bother with that particular trade. We just pass that over and look for the next opportunity. So when we're receiving cash flow up front day one, what that means is we're in effect becoming wholesale owners of that stock. Because we pay the retail, but then we get compensated by the option, we're actually paying less up front for the share. And what I mean by that is, if we pay $16.87 and we receive $1.12, our net purchase price is $15.75. Okay, so immediately we're better off than the average stock owner because we receive that money up front. Then, of course, we take that and we rent it out, typically between 3 and 9% per month by selling the options. And you can see in our example here that that $1.12 is 6.5%, 6.5% return. Now, if we're a little bit greedy, we may be tempted to hold on to that full 6.5%. But unless you know the markets quite well, and unless you've got a good amount of skill in the markets to know exactly when the market's going to move, there's a chance it could go against you. Now, we don't want to suffer a big loss, so we're going to buy some insurance. Now, irrespective of market direction, we're going to be able to get this income. But if it goes down, we want to have insurance in place. Okay? So when we're buying a investment property, of course, we want to protect our investment by getting insurance. We get landlord insurance, we get building insurance. With the stocks, we don't use our own money. We use the rental to insure the stocks by buying a put option. When we buy that put option, it means that we're guaranteed to be able to sell that option at a particular price within this month. So if we go back to our example earlier, we can see, once again, we've bought it for $16.87, and we've sold that option there, and we received $1.12. Where's my thing here? Okay, $1.12. See that there. And also, what we're doing is we're going across here, and if you can see that line with $15, we're paying 58 cents per share. We can see that there, 58 cents per share, in order to insure it so that if it goes below 15, we can sell it at 15. We call that a collar in stock market terms. It's called a collar because if the price goes up or the price goes down, it doesn't affect us too much. We know our return up front, and we know our protection up front. So to illustrate that in terms of the overall strategy, here we bought the share, there it is. We've bought that put option, so we know that the worst case scenario is we sell it at $15. We know that we also have received $1.12 up front, and we've used a portion of that $1.12 to buy our 58 cent option to insure our shares. So here we are, and we've got a net return. This is a net return of 3.2%. A lot of people say, oh, you know, the return doesn't include insurance. Yes, it does include insurance. When we're talking about this, that's a 3.2% including insurance. And if it gets exercised, that means if it goes up to that $17 and gets sold, which will happen automatically at the end of the expiry period, if it goes up above 17, it'll automatically get sold. We'll automatically sell it for $17 and we'll make a 4% return, including the insurance. Okay, and the whole time, capital protection of 92.1%. That means that even if the bottom falls out of this stock, even if it gets knocked off the exchange, even if there's a scandal and they shut the company down, we can still sell that option for that $15, okay, which is good peace of mind. That's better than stop loss. A stop loss doesn't help you. If something goes wrong, there's a 9/11 happens again, the stock can gap down. It can be trading at $16.87 today and be trading at $11 tomorrow. But if you've got that put option in place, you're protected, and you haven't paid for it yourself. And that is the power of this particular strategy, and why it's so consistent. Okay, now, sorry, people are sending me texts and emails, and sorry, I got a bit distracted there. But moving right along. Okay, so once again, a lot of people ask, is it time consuming? I'm time poor. I don't know if I'll be able to do this and so forth. Well, it only takes between 30 and 60 minutes per month to actually run this strategy. It could take even less than that if you utilize the full service brokerage that I'm going to talk about in a couple of moments. But certainly, guys, if you can't afford sort of 5 minutes a day, then you're doing something wrong, and you really need to make some changes to your lifestyle. Of course, you can afford the time, and you just need to build enough reasons to actually take the plunge and do this, because once you do, it is something that can run in the background and absolutely be life-changing. And so many of my friends have done this. My sister's done it, and it has absolutely been something that has changed lifestyles. It also works really well in conjunction with investment property. A lot of people utilize the equity from their homes or their investment properties in order to get some of the cash to invest in the Sharelord system. Because you're protecting the capital all the time, it's safer than a lot of other investments where the capital may not be protected. and it's got a much higher rate of return than investment properties. I'm a big advocate of investing in property, and I think that it should be a massive part of anybody's investment portfolio. But just a $50,000 Sharelord investment is equivalent to a $500,000 property investment in terms of cash flow. So you can see that if you had a property that grew in value by say 50K, it probably makes sense to take that 50K and invest it into something that could get a return that was 10 times stronger than another property. Okay, and certainly I know that a lot of our clients have used their equity to create cash flow and use that cash flow on a deposit for another property, and it leapfrogs faster and faster and faster into more and more properties. And this is something that we want to help as many people do as possible. Remember, of course, though, as well, that when you're a Sharelord, unlike a landlord, you don't have any rental vacancies because of the liquidity of the market. You always, if you want to create a contract, there's always somebody out there who's going to want to take that up, especially with the types of stocks that we choose through the Sharelord system. And look, for anyone who's been in business, this is an incredible strategy compared to buying a franchise, being in business for yourself, or what have you. We've got a bit of a lag there. I think we've got a bit of a lag there on the slides. So I'm just going to wait. There we go. All right. So is everyone following me? Are we still with me, guys? Just type in a quick hi or yes, so I know you're still with me, because I'm seeing a bit of a lag there. Yep, fantastic. Okay, so once again, this is a strategy which, unlike a business, you've got to put a lot of money up front just to buy the plant and fixtures and all that sort of stuff. You're not having to buy plant, you're not having to buy fixtures, you're just going out and buying stock straight away, and you're just making money off that stock straight away. And if you decide that you want to close the entire thing down, you can do it at a moment's notice. You can't get out of your lease, you can't give back your franchise at a moment's notice. This is something that is got incredible profit potential, similar to a lot of businesses, but low barrier to entry. You can start with a few $1,000s, and it's totally flexible. And you don't need to have other people working for you, and you don't need to have all the other things, BAS statements and so forth. Look, it's compared to, I've been in business myself for 10 years, compared to that, this is a dream. Also, for those people who aren't aware of it, there's plenty of opportunities for strategies like this within your 401k or investment retirement plans and so forth. We've helped a lot of people get on board with self-managed super funds and 401k payment plans in the States and so forth. And this particular strategy, if you set up your deed of trust correctly, can be utilized within these. And they certainly would outperform most people's superannuation. Not many people are getting these kind of returns in their own super funds. The return that we get in Sharelord in a month probably outstrips what most people are getting in their super funds in a year. Whose super fund's done more than, say, 6% in the past year? Anybody? I don't think so. Whereas there's potential there that you could do that in a couple of months with relative safety using something like the Sharelord system. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to be looking at the trading diary overview. So you can do this from a laptop, you can do this from your phone, you can do it from a tablet. It's as long as you've got internet access, and you can go and start making some cash flow. So, trading diary overview. So when you become a member, you get access to the Sharelord website. When you're in the website, there's a bunch of education that you can get. And you should do this education, the Education Centre. Sorry, where are we? So there's the Education Centre. You go through that. You go through the Getting Started sequences. You're going to go through and do the Education Library, so you know what you're doing. And then you're going to click into the Cash Flow Diary. Now, the Cash Flow Diary shows you exactly which stock and which options to trade. So where are we here? Getting a bit of a delay once again, so bear with me. Sorry, guys, and there we are. Okay, so this is a very recent trade. This is from last week on US Airways, and you can see that that particular position was returning about 5.96% return up front. Okay, now if you got insurance with it, it still would have returned you 5%. You can see down there, 5% even with insurance. Okay, so that's 6% upfront cash flow and 5% even after your insurance. So that's very, very good. Okay, we can see here, once again, this is just from a couple of weeks ago. That's Delta Airlines, and that was an upfront return of 4.32%. So once again, that was 4.3% cash flow day one. This is going back last about a month, and we can see there that sorry, we got it. Yep, there we go. So that was First Solar Corporation, and that was returning about 5.5%. So these are recent positions, recent trades. This one goes back. You can see this one. Wait for the slides to catch up there. You can see that one from July that was returning what was 8.7%, and you can see in that red square down the bottom that was 96.5% protection. So high level of protection and fantastic income as well. Okay, and that was 8.7% return. Next, we had one going back to last July, and this one here, you can see that that's offering 99% protection. Now, you don't see that all the time, but 99% protection is pretty phenomenal, and every now and again you do see those opportunities come up, and that was about a 14.5% return. So that, that's the kind of return where when I made that massive month, about a year and a half in from my first foray into Sharelord, we were seeing these kind of returns, and did a massive month that month. That'll happen for you eventually, but if you're wanting to be more realistic about it, that 3 to 4% is much more realistic and much more consistent. We can see this one once again going back to July. That was like 8.5% on Herbalife. I was in that one. That was a good return. I took that one. This one was Green Mountain Coffee, and you can see there that was 7.5%. That was from August. So there's these nice returns coming along fairly consistently. 3.5%. Once again, that was we've got Broadcom coming up, and where are we? Broadcom there. You can see there. You get all the information, all the different components that you need to be aware of is up front given to you, and that was 4.62%. So all the information you need, every component you need to place the position and protect the position in the market is provided to you through the Sharelord cash flow diary. There's no guesswork. You don't need to be wondering what to do. You're told exactly what to do. If you're not sure how to execute it, you can also get help with that through the mentoring system. Now, they've made even more improvements to the trading diary of the past little while, and they've now put in a grading system so that people can know the fundamental strength of the stock, what quality the stock is before they decide to invest in it. So previously, there'd be a trade might come out or a position might come out, and it looks like a really good return, but it was a stock that fundamentally didn't have a lot behind it. It was just trading on sentiment. Well, they'll tell you that through the trading diary now. So we can see here that you get a grading system, and that grading system tells you whether it's absolutely grade A, and you might decide only to go for the safest, most top quality stocks, in which case you could look for A grade stocks. Now, the A grade stocks aren't going to give you the highest possible option rental or premium, but they're most likely to continue to hold their value and march up in value. So you're least likely to be holding a stock that starts to go down and you can't make money off it. Grade B, okay, these are going to give you, by and large, they've got the greater potential to give you more premium, a higher return, but you need to be aware that they're not quite as high quality as the grade A. And the C grade ones, these are the ones where you've got a greater chance of finding a big premium, and in a bullish market that can be very, very lucrative. But in a flatter market, or when the sentiment isn't there, some of these C grade stocks aren't necessarily going to be ones you want to hold on to. So you want to be aware that you're taking more risk with that C grade stock. And then there's a D grade, and the D grade doesn't cut it for Sharelord, so you won't see them in there at all. Okay, but A, B, C grade. So now, depending on your risk profile, how conservative you want to be, you can choose your Sharelord trades according to that criteria. The other thing that you've got is the status. Every trade, every position in the market is going to have a status associated with it. It only takes you 10 seconds to log into your account and check out the status. If it's green, good status. You don't have to do anything. If it's blue, positive action. There's a chance to make some additional cash flow this month. Warning status, that's yellow. Okay, you may need to do something soon, so you just be aware not to miss out on tomorrow's recommendations in case you need to do something. And red is critical action. You immediately need to take action because you want to stop yourself. You want to either mitigate a loss or you want to get out of a situation where there's potential loss. Okay? Does that all make sense? So this is really powerful. You can see here, look, when I first started with Sharelord, they didn't have the status, they didn't have the managed trades, they didn't tell you exactly what to do step by step. They gave you the upfront recommendation, and then you could be potentially left holding a stock that you didn't know what to do with. That does not happen anymore. So this is very, very important for those of you who may have seen Sharelord a little while back, not realised these incredible improvements. And these types of improvements have come along because people like myself and other, people who have been dealing with these, with clients and so forth over the years, have said, we need this, Nick, and Nick has come to the party and made things happen. And he's adding even more stuff in the near future. Now look at this. This is as of Thursday last week. I didn't get a chance to go into today, but it's only been a couple of trading days. You can see here, remember how I said that if it's green, it's good, and if it's blue, it means there's the possibility for an additional profit? Well, they're all green and blue, except there's two here that are yellow, which doesn't mean that there's a problem. It just means that there's a warning. So you can see there that in the entire past 6 weeks of trade recommendations, there's been 20 entries, and most of them are going gangbusters, if not looking for an additional profit. So that is that's a great record. Who agrees? So the guys at Sharelord have been really doing an incredible job. I believe when we look back over the figures, that when you include the what we call the interventions, where they've been able to mitigate a stock that has fallen by the wayside, I don't think there's been a net losing month on the Sharelord diary, which is a great effort. Now, Sharelord investing has never been easier than now because of this new brokerage platform. Now, some of you will know about it, some of you won't. This new brokerage platform, which is Sharelord Investor. Now, it was launched a few months back, maybe 5 months back, I'm not exactly sure. So a lot of you may not have heard about this, and there's certainly been some super improvements. You are able to get the broker to do all the trading on your behalf, but for the same cost as if you're doing it yourself online. Normally, full-service brokers charge $120, $180 to put on a trade of this style, and then if you're exercised, you pay another brokerage on top of that. Not so with Sharelord Investor. So Nick has cut a deal with Interactive Brokers and started this platform called Sharelord Investor, and they're committed to helping Sharelord members get the absolute best out of the Sharelord recommendations. You cannot become a member of this Sharelord Investor brokerage firm unless you're already a Sharelord member. So it's exclusive to Sharelord members and exclusive benefits for Sharelord members. You do have the user-friendly technology. One of the big benefits as well for trading with Sharelord Investor, and compared to, say, Options Express or what have you, is that you get a multi-currency account. This means that you can fund your account in Aussie dollars, or if you're in Britain, in pounds, and you can hedge the currency risk. And for those of you who know a bit about foreign exchange, instead of having a 400 pip spread like they normally do with interbank transactions, it's a 0.5 pip spread. So half a hundredth of a cent. So it's a tiny, tiny, tiny amount that you're paying for the hedge, and it means that you're not exposed to currency risk. And that's very, very important in a time where the currency fluctuations could take out a proportion of your profits that you invest overseas. Not going to happen if you've got a currency hedge in place, and that's what you can easily do with Sharelord Investor. You don't have to, but you can choose to. And we can see we've got very competitive pricing as well. We can see that stocks are trading for $10. I mean, Comsec is charging minimum of $20 for stocks in Australia. I think they, $30, $40 for American stocks. Option contracts in Australia, you're paying about $39 for an options contract. Up to 10 contracts with Sharelord Investors only going to be $13, and you can also trade futures there as well. Also, 0 fees when your options are exercised. So those of you who know a little bit about share renting will know that if your share goes up and it gets sold, normally you pay brokerage to sell it back to the market. Not so with these guys. They're actually going to exercise your options for free, which is saving, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per year. Once again, you're paying no extra, but you are receiving full service brokerage. For newcomers, this is saving you thousands and thousands of dollars a year in brokerage. Now, when you receive the recommendations, what you can do is you don't need to be, this is the American market, remember. A lot of people are concerned, oh, what about the American market? Do I need to be up? No, you don't. What you can do is you can set up a contingent combo order, contingent on certain things happening, and you can set that in the market so you don't actually have to be watching the market. If all the ducks line up, it will get executed. If not, it won't do anything. And so therefore you only trade when all the conditions are met from the trading diary. Okay, and like you saw before, everything's in there, including the price and the time and so forth to place the trade. And you see there that what happens is you place that combo order, all the components are placed into the website. If you're not sure how to do it, you can call up and you can get help from the brokering office, or you can get help from the Sharelord mentors. It is absolutely turnkey from that point of view. And then you just place that into the market, and and you can see here that if the price is equal to $76 at or after 5 o'clock, well, that's 5 o'clock Sydney time, which is 3 p.m. New York time, and if that happens, then it will execute the trade. If not, it won't. Very, very straightforward. You don't have to be up watching the market. It just happens automatically for you. And as I said earlier, the Sharelord team are always looking to make sure that they're getting the best opportunities in the market. However, if the market conditions aren't suitable, they're not going to put a trade on just for the sake of putting something in the diary. So if there's not meant to be an entry today because of adverse conditions or what have you, they won't put one up there. So sometimes there'll be 6 trades that'll be executed for the month. Sometimes there'll be 18. It depends on the market. Okay, so you need to be aware that they're not going to just be placing positions willy-nilly. They're only going to be putting quality trades out where they believe there's a maximum chance of success. And a lot of other brokers and a lot of other recommendation services out there are going to be just churning through those recommendations without much care. But the Sharelord team are taking responsibility, and this is the other thing they're doing for you. They're helping you each step of the way by telling you exactly what to do. So we can see in this helping manage your position, there's been 3 situations on this particular stock where they've jumped in and they've said, we need you to take action. If you're not sure what to do, you can call Sharelord Investor. They will do it for you. Now, this is also an incredible situation. I was talking to Greg at Sharelord Investor just the other day. Greg's one of the brokers over there. He said if someone's a little bit shaky and they're not really sure about managing their own trades, and they let us know, or we get the sense that that's how they are, if there's a what we call an intervention and they're in a trade, we'll actually call them up and explain to them how to do it and do it on their behalf if they want to do it. So that means that if there's a roll down, roll up, or what have you, you're not sure how to do it yourself, you don't want to stuff it up, you can call the guys. They'll walk you through it. If you don't put the intervention on, they'll call, if you want to, if you register with them as somebody who needs that additional help, they'll call you up and they'll walk you through it, and it won't cost you a dime extra for all of that. So I don't know what more you could want from a broker. I can't think of any other broker I've ever had that will give you that level of service. Certainly not for the price. And also remember, guys, that there's loads and loads of additional support on the online platform. So you're getting, if you're not sure, about tax, if you're not sure about when to start trading live, what sort of account you should use, and all this sort of stuff, there's loads and loads of information about how to figure that out for yourself and what to say to your accountant and so forth in order to make things work for you. Now let's have a look at how the Sharelord diary has been performing. Bearing in mind that these results include buying insurance every single time, the Sharelord cash flow diary is outperforming the market. Now the markets have been performing well. We've seen decent returns just by buying stock on the S&P 500, but nothing like 37% return last financial year. So last financial year, if you'd taken all the trades, that would be a 37% return on your money. Now, not everyone can take all the trades, but it gives you a good indication of how well the cash flow diary has been going. Now, I do hear from time to time people aren't necessarily getting the same results and so forth. Of course, if you happen to take some of the trades that aren't as profitable, you might get slightly less. If you only take some of the more profitable trades, you might do slightly better or even much better. But by and large, this is the average that we're looking at. And that's a great return for the financial year. It outperforms Buffett, and that's saying something. Okay, so let's have a look at the October expiry. These are the latest results. Now we can see here that now this is this financial year and a little bit back. So we've got June expiry month, July, August, September, and October. We can see here that June there was only 5 positions taken. The market wasn't that easy to predict, and there was actually 1 loss. So the profit was 2% across those trades. July, 12 came out, and 12 went to maximum profit, and that was a 3.1% return. August, 7 out of 7, 100% strike rate, and 3.1% average return. September, 16 out of 16, that's a nice strong month, nearly 4% return. And in October, we saw 13 out of 14 go to profit. That's a 92.9% strike rate, and we're looking at a total of 3.2% return, or an average of a 3.2% return. So that means that the overall return since May, Sharelord has been completely outperforming the market, and also we can see there hasn't been a single losing month, which is great, and that's great peace of mind, and they're outperforming the S&P 500 by a significant difference. Let's have a look here at this particular list, and these are the stocks that were closed out last expiry period, and we can see that all but one was closed out at a profit, and we can see consistent percentage returns all throughout there. So you need to be pretty unlucky to have taken any kind of loss whatsoever, and if you've been on this and you'd maybe taken that one particular position on your account, yeah, maybe that might have been an unlucky month for you. Most people are only taking 3, 4, 5 positions per month, so a lot of people would have 100% success by following the recommendations. Once again, and when they're following the recommendations, doing it properly, you are fulfilling the Sharelord growth matrix criteria. You can't get wiped out if you're following this criteria. You can't have your account get eroded overnight because of a fundamental event or whatever, because you protected in the market. That's very important. And I've had people say, oh, they've tried share renting and so forth, and they've picked a really bad stock and it's gone down by 50%. It happens. Even the best stock pickers occasionally get it wrong. But if you've got the insurance in place, it stops it from being disaster, and it's just a pain in the bum for a couple of months. Okay? So there's 3 outcomes when you're a Sharelord. Either you get double dip cash flow, i.e. you buy the stock, you rent it out, and you sell it for a profit, or you just get that rental cash flow. Okay, that rental cash flow comes through, 3, 4%, or you might have to cash in your insurance policy. Now, what the Sharelord team will endeavour to do is show you how to get out of cashing that insurance policy by doing what's called a roll, and potentially giving you additional profit to counteract your loss. They can't always do that. Sometimes the share drops too quickly and you just have to take a hit. And if that's the case, we just take the hit and move on. It's a small hit because we've got the insurance. And we're protecting, once again, up to 99% coverage. It's not always going to be 99%. It's often going to be 93, 91, 94, but you can protect a lot of it. And if you want to be more conservative, you can get greater protection, and we can show you how to do that. All right. Now, one of the things that people say to me as a 21st century consultant is, look, I just want to replace my income. I don't want to have to work, or I want to supplement my income so that I can go part-time or what have you. So here's what I found. We've done this analysis with quite a few people. Invested at 4% per month. Okay, now we're averaging around about 3 to 4% returns through the Sharelord investment system. At 4% per month, a $125,000 invested could replace the average salary of $5,000 a month. Now, $125,000 is the equivalent of around about 3 years of capital growth in an Australian investment property or home. The reason I say this, might sound a bit esoteric at the moment, is if your goal is to replace your income, and let's say it's $5,000 a month, let's say it's $10,000 a month, you can quickly work out how much money you're going to need based on what we've seen to replace it. Now, for some of you, you've got enough equity in your home or investment property to replace your income via Sharelord today, and you know who you are. So you guys could make the decision that within 12 months you want to be independent of your work, and you could make it happen within 12 months. I wouldn't suggest anyone quitting their job or anything, but if that's your goal to replace your income, the potential's there for you. Okay. Now, look, if you're only able to get 3%, maybe you need 180,000. A lot of you would be able to build to that within a short space of time. So replacing your income is not a pipe dream. The potential is there for a lot of people for that to happen within 12 months. And we can see there that if you're not looking to replace your income, but you're looking to build long-term wealth, that if you're just able to compound at 4% per month, you could turn $10,000 into $1 million in 10 years using compounding at just 4% per month. And if you wanted to if you wanted to take that further, at 5% a month, you're looking at turning that into about $3.5 million. Now, the basic Sharelord lately hasn't been able to get that sort of 5% per month. It has in the past. I've certainly experienced it. But let's say we base it off 3%. Okay, that's still an amazing return. And for those of you who get involved with Sharelord and want to stick with us, there's Sharelord Advanced, where there are other strategies which require less capital and get potentially higher returns. If you move on to the Sharelord Advanced strategies down the track, once you master this, that 5% per month is absolutely possible. And we've got a lot of clients. I've spoken to a lot of clients personally where I've gotten to the point where they can get that over 5%. Okay, so that is possible, and you can see what the potential is if you're able to do that. So imagine if you'd been, doing this for the past 5-10 years. Imagine what you would have been able to do with your equity, with the savings that you've had, how much more inspired you would have been to save more, etc., etc. Okay, so remember, of course, that when you're with Sharelord, we're not trying to bamboozle people with hieroglyphics and crazy jargon. We simplify things to the most basic terms, the easiest to understand, and you can really start with any amount. Look, 2,000 is probably a little bit too low. I would say $4,000 to $8,000 would be the minimum, depending on your brokerage account, the type of brokerage account you've got. If you're going to use Sharelord Investor, you need at least 5,000 in there. Okay, so let's get straight that 2,000 is the absolute minimum. We'd sort of say at least 5, but beyond that, millions of dollars. People invested millions of dollars in using the Sharelord system to get those kind of returns. So, for those of you who aren't already members, I'm going to explain to you what's involved in in what you get. If you're already a member and you're looking to take up the diary again, and you're looking to become a member of Sharelord Investor, email me. There is a special offer at the moment to be able to get the option scanner and 3 months of additional mentoring to help you get back on track with the trading diary as well as the option scanner. And I've organised that as a special deal with Nick. For those of you who aren't already members, this is the package for you. Okay, so You get the DVD home study, so you're getting a pack that comes out in the mail, gets sent out to you. It's got the DVDs, it's got the audio CDs, some support books and manuals, as well as an MP3 player so that you can listen to the information on the go. We've just recently had all the videos revamped, so it's brand new material, and it's up to the minute for today's market conditions. Plus, you get access to the online membership. What that means is that for lifetime, now this is the lifetime access to the education. This is not lifetime access to the cash flow diary, but it is lifetime access to the education and any updates and so forth. And so you're getting all these videos, and they're showing you exactly how to place your trades, exactly how to read the market for this style of trading. It's give you an overview of the global financial markets and understanding all the components. Okay, so you're going to get up to speed by following the online. You're getting 12 months of the cash flow diary. 12 months of the cash flow diary. Each year you can renew. At the moment it's $1,300 a year to renew. Okay, now I kept on renewing for about 4 years. You're not obliged to, but once you see the results, you're more than happy to pay. You're getting 12 months of mentoring support. That means that anytime throughout your membership, you can get onto Skype, you can book a ticket, and you can get that mentoring support. Remember as well, you can get support from the brokers if you're a Sharelord Investor member. And the mentors will help you stay on track. Now, they're not going to call you every day and make sure you're on track, but what they will do is that if you have any issues that you want to discuss, you'll book a time, you can talk on Skype, you can do screen sharing and so forth, and really get as much help as you need. Once again, in addition to those guys, you've got the brokers, and they'll help you even further with understanding strategies if you ring up and ask for additional assistance. And you don't need to book a Skype ticket with the brokers. You can just call and get straight through to someone who can help you. Remembering, of course, that if you've been struggling with anything in the markets, you really probably do need a mentor. I certainly have had many mentors, and I seek out mentors all the time in the stock market to build my success. And I've certainly had some great results because of that. And I know that I couldn't have done it without people like Nick and my other mentors showing me the way and helping me and holding my hand, and having people like Wolfgang, who used to be with FFI, just waiting on the other end of the line to talk to me and talking me through things and getting my confidence up and so forth. And that's what the mentors are there for. So we've come to the pointy end of the proceedings. This is where we're going to ask you to take action, and is just wanting to sort of have that answered before they make a decision. No? Okay, so no questions. So just type in a Q if you've got a question now and you want me to hang around, because otherwise we might just finish up.